Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today I have got this little cutie. Now, this is what I'm going to base my entire card around today. This is called the Cute Little Snuggle Snowman. Now, here's the thing. A, this comes on the magnetic sheet, so this is brilliant. But B, I admire the people who can get those beautiful dies with a gazillion pieces and put together the most intricate, gorgeous makes. I have tried, and I think perhaps I don't have the right personality, or it's just not the right season in life for putting together those, and that is exactly why I fell in love with this little guy. Now, here's the fun things. This is like the little head, and it shows you when you die cut this, it cuts the wee indents. It puts the wee indents in there, doesn't cut them, and this means you just scribble with a black marker and an orange marker, and then you have the eyes and nose done. That's how simple this is. Now, I die cut these beautiful little snowmen in mere seconds. I chose to use the, there's like a card fronts pack. Again, it'll all be linked down below, but these are the colors that inspired me. So there's like a purple, a mustardy kind of yellow, and an orange, but look how quick this is to effectively put in the nose and eyes. And there are no fiddly pieces. There are no little eyes to be cut, no noses. This is my type of card making. And that is why this whole card was so quick to put together. And that's why this big little snuggle snowman gets a big tick from me. I am just adding in a little shading, just a little bit of tumbled glass down the bottom to give him a little bit of differentiation between him and the snow that will go underneath, but we'll use some tips and tricks for that. I am into the lovely, quick, efficient, but beautiful, stunning results kind of card making to the best of my ability. Does it always work out? No, but we all try, and that is, I like this card. It turned out better than I thought it was going to. This is definitely my ability level when it comes to putting together little die cut pieces. The arms just go behind, great, done. His little scarf here, pop it on, good, done. Now, I am going to add a few more little pieces to this guy to just jazz him up a little bit more. And I do quite like this because it sort of gives you the options. We also want to use what's in our stash already, but this is super, super simple. Now, you could die cut out everything in the white, and then you could color it in. I wanted to do 3 little snowmen, except for different colored little hats and scarves, matching hats and scarves, of course. And because I had some cardstock just sitting there, I was more than happy to go with cutting out the coloured cardstock. As you saw from when I pulled that die out of the packaging, it's just super simple, very straightforward. And that's my kind of, assembling, I would say. All right, we are getting these little guys together super quick. The hats have that little bit there that you pop one piece on top. And then, you could do all sorts of fancy things. Like you could cut these out of glitter cardstock. You could cut them out twice and then pop up the second layer to do like a little bit of paper piecing on top. There's you could add texture. There are all sorts of like snow pens where you could, when you pop the little pen on or whatever the liquid is, and then you heat it with your heat gun and it goes all puffy. That would be really fun. Instead of the pom-poms here, you could put real pom-poms, like hot glue a real little pom-pom onto there. You could add on googly eyes if you wanted to on top of the snowman. Lots of different things. And I quite like that. This guy is like the beautiful basic version, and we can do a lot. So let's make this card. I have my card base ready to go. Pop in a wee piece of scrap paper, and you saw that I just cut my own hills, my own little slopes, snowbanks, whatever we want to call them, and I'm just using that same tumbled glass ink. I'm not coming in too heavy. I don't want these to be really stark snowbanks. It's just something to ground my snowman. Now, if you wanted to, you could glue down the actual little, snowbank or slope, whatever we're calling it, that I have just cut. You could glue that onto your page, and that would also be beautiful and good to go onto your card front. Or you could, cut one and then you could pop the second one up with some foam tape. You could add some more of that texture. You could do some even like white embossing powder. That is really fun, especially if you've got like a glittery one. You could do this technique here, but instead of doing it with the ink, you could do it with the sticky embossing ink, like a Versamark ink, and then add on your embossing powder, and you'd have those beautiful slopes in embossing powder. So just so many options. For a little bit of background noise, I'm just going to do some splatter. Again, we're using the same Tumbled glass ink. We don't want to bring out a gazillion bits and pieces. My mind works a little bit better, and I find that card making is, I guess, easier for me when I have less items to work with. So not bringing in any new colors or any new inks. These beautiful distress oxides are going to do all the work here. I'm going to blend down the bottom, and also they work perfectly for the splatters. I just popped a little bit down on an acrylic block and some kind of non-porous surface, so any piece of plastic, anything like that. And then for this one, I am going to make this a Christmas card, but of course, I did think about, because it is actually summer here in New Zealand, and of course that means that we have a warm Christmas, a hot Christmas. And so I thought about die cutting these guys out of like a sandy color, like a light browny sandy color, and we could give them some texture, and then you could have more of a beachy background with a sunshine at the back, so they would kind of be more like sandmen, snowmen. But nonetheless, I did stick with the original little snowmen idea, but that would be a great idea if you are down here in the southern hemisphere. Stamped my sentiment down in those little snowbanks. Again, another reason for doing the inking nice and lightly, so that I can definitely get a clear sentiment in there ready to go. I've got all my little snowmen popped up on some foam tape, and I'm going to just kind of almost stagger them a little bit. I want the middle one down a little bit further, and then the side two are going to be up just a little bit. And then watch these guys come together. I think even putting on their little hats, and then we're going to do two specific things to take these to the next level. So this was pretty fun. I have got a plan for these little snowmen. Also, I think I'm going to die cut some of the pieces and pop them in the back of the packaging, just so that takes away one step for next time. I know I'm going to use these little guys, so I know that that would be a good use of time. Now, first things first, I'm going to pop some easy little diamond stickles, which is essentially just like glitter. You could use some glue and some glitter on there on those extra pieces, or just cut them out of glitter cardstock to begin with. But look at that gorgeous shine. I love a good shiny element to catch the recipient's eye, like it gives a little bit of movement to the card. And then I have brought out my Nuvo drops, and I'm going to add in the buttons, because I didn't have actual buttons that were small enough. So I'm going to add on my own in some black Nuvo drops, which is going to give it some gorgeous dimension. It's been a minute since I've had this one out, and you saw that I also did some pencil marks as to where I wanted the buttons to begin with, just because I was nervous. Once you put on this black, I can't take it off. I can't swipe it away. It's going to mark it. So I wanted to make sure with the pencils, but once I sort of had it marked out and I thought, yeah, that looks okay, this is the finished beautiful card. I love this little snuggle snowman. Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate you being here, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye!